And you're just in time for Richard Mwenja Exclusive, your go-to point on matters political and governance analysis. Here in Kenya and across the region, it's such a distinct privilege to have your company with us. Now today we are discussing a raft of issues in the aforementioned arena, but first things first, allow me to introduce the analyst for the day. Is none other than this proud son of Vihiga and Kenya's biggest political analyst, Herman Manyora. How are you doing today?
I'm good.
You're well?
Well, I thank God.
Laid back?
Relaxed.
A gentleman by excellence?
Yeah.
All right, sir. Let us unpack, sort of the concerns of the Gen Z, that particular constituent in Kenya's setup of currently. And from their end, they believe that rage is building in them, and reason as to why is because they feel President Ruto squandered the chance to correct mistakes after the Gen Z protest witnessed around June, July, thereabout. But from your end, do you think for the last 2-3 months the president has been working overtime to correct those issues that the Gen Z took concern with, especially on the high cost of living and a fair chance to a better future for them?
I think to be honest with ourselves, because we need to be honest with ourselves, not much has been done to address the concerns of the Gen Zs, which is indeed the concerns of all Kenyans. Not much has been done. Yeah. If anything, perhaps very little. Yeah.
At that time, from the president's eye, it was more of a political problem that needed to be fixed so that development can come from it. It can trickle down from good governance, and then now it translates to better economy for all of us. But one way for the president to address that was to onboard the broad-based government, to calm the tension and also to inspire confidence that both sides are going to be listened to, those allied to the opposition and those in the current administration. But would you say, even with the broad-based government on board, it never raised the popularity of President Ruto's, achievements and commitments this far?
Yeah, because it was seen as a way of circumventing what had been raised by the Gen Zs. The reading that the people gave this relationship between Raila and Ruto is that Ruto went for Raila so that he can ignore the concerns of the Gen Zs. Because he has the support of Raila now, he doesn't have to do anything. Yeah.
And now, what danger, portends for this new broad-based government should they continue playing dumb to the grievances of the Gen Z, especially when it comes to matters doing employment? Look at the state appointments that have come past June. Rarely have you seen a name representing the Gen Z constituent or someone who is in touch with their concerns. Do you think that will also be a lethal card for the government of the day?
Yeah, you see, generally speaking, the concerns have not been addressed. And if you isolate one of employment, it has been said that this is a ticking time bomb. And I have wondered how the leadership can't see this. And by leadership, I don't mean Ruto or Raila. I just mean anybody in a leadership position, in a position of influence. How come we are not seeing this thing? How do we imagine you can live in a country with all these millions of young people not having jobs? How stupid can one get? How do you think you can be comfortable in Lavington, in Loresho, Kileleshwa, Runda, Mudaiga, Karen? How do you think you can be comfortable with hordes of young men and women jobless?
They could at some point...
How can you be safe in the city of Nairobi, a city of 4-5 million people, half of who don't have jobs? How can you be safe? How can you be safe working in Nairobi in another 2-3 years? When out of every 10 people walking in the street, 9 don't have a job. And out of the 9, 7 have university education. How safe can you be? To imagine you can be safe, it will show just how stupid you are.
So from your end, do you foresee a situation?
Because there are cities in this world where you are just not even robbed, you are even raped in the streets, daylight. That's how bad things can get. And you get to that state when you imagine you can have a city where out of 10 people working, only 1 has a job. And out of the 9 who don't have jobs, 7 of them have university education. They are young and with energy to work, and there are no opportunities. So, and when the few opportunities come, they are grabbed by those who don't even need them. A child who wakes up to the best breakfast in Karen can occasionally board a plane to go and say hi to the sister in Canada. He's the one who gets that job. And the poor child who should get it, whose father and mother sold almost everything they had to take them to university, doesn't get that job.
Zero meritocracy?
Yeah, so how do you think you can live in a country like that? You know you must be of such a low brain. And unfortunately, that's what we are. We are all of such a low caliber in terms of thinking that we imagine that's sustainable. It's not sustainable. It has never been and it won't be. We won't be the first people to sustain that kind of stupidity. It's not possible that you can have millions of young people without jobs.
The bourgeois from their end could be looking at Manyora and say maybe this is an alarmist. But do you foresee a situation whereby the proletariats will go and take back what they believe belongs to them?
Of course. It's just a matter of time.
So what we saw in June, people taking to the streets and
That was
claiming
nothing.
accountability.
That was nothing. That's nothing. Nothing. That's absolutely nothing. Stuff will happen in this country. And people from wherever they are will remember what Manyora kept telling them. From some corner of the world as a refugee, you remember what I said. But why did I contribute to making my country what it is today?
A Kenyan could end up as a refugee in another
Not
country?
can end up, will end up as refugees in other countries. I have had the unfortunate privilege of mingling with the refugees, of working with the refugees. I want to tell Kenyans, as a UT at Munzate Secondary School and other places, when I was a young man, I taught with people who had escaped from Sudan, from Ethiopia, and from Uganda. I want to tell Kenyans, Richard, I want to tell you this. I taught with a man, not one, not two, one from Uganda, one from Sudan. I taught with a man who could not tell us, who could not tell where his wife was. He didn't know. He didn't know where his young children were. When hell broke loose,
Everything crumbled?
everything, you just have to save yourself. He couldn't tell where his wife was. He didn't know. He didn't know where his children were. And I'm talking of a time there were no mobile phones. That is how bad it can get. I taught with people who had been ministers in their country. Ministers, but as refugees. Do you know the late Garang, for example? He was a UT, he was teaching somewhere in Karatina. Next to the late Gachagua's home. You know, DP Gachagua, the brothers, former Governor Gachagua. His home. There's a school there. The late Garang, Colonel Garang was teaching there, having escaped the trouble in Sudan. And I'm telling Kenyans.
We could be caught in disaster.
I'm telling Kenyans. In 19-something, I can't remember when Amin was chased out of Uganda in 1979, as a young man, I was hired by the Arab League or something, some organization, to go and help refugees settle, the people who had escaped from Uganda, to settle in a Bukhungu Stadium, no, in a Kakamega Showground or Bukhungu Stadium, I can't remember. It's quite a while. I was a very young boy. What I saw there, I want to share with Kenyans. They were being helped. A good number of them were Muslims, I think. And that's why the Arab League or something like that, Friends of Arab, something. There was Arab in the picture, Muslim something, were helping them with food. But that was not enough. People had escaped with money. And I want Kenyans to listen to me.
Hard cash.
Hard cash from Uganda. And you needed to change that money into Kenyan shillings. The world wasn't what it is today. I saw until tears rolled down my cheeks. When money changers come, you want to go with them to change the money because handling foreign currency was illegal in this country. And people were jailed like Honorable Waruru Kanja for just being found with currency. The world has changed. This liberalization has changed. To be found with dollars or anything, you would have gone to jail. And therefore, that change ought to take place in secret. I saw with my eyes and I shed tears. When the money changer tells you, not you, let me go with your wife.
What?
Yeah, let me go with your wife. Niwende nimpatie hiyo pesa, Kenya shillings. People are playing with danger. People are playing with danger. I've taught with the refugees at the university. I know what people go through when they are not in their country.
Zero dignity?
Not even dignity. It's painful. You take your country for granted. The moment you lose your country is when you realize the London you normally go to will be a different ground. You enjoy in London because you are coming back home. And I'm telling Kenyans, please don't contribute to messing this country. You will be watching from some corner and you'll say, God. I keep telling Kenyans, when you wake up in the morning, and they must talk to Ugandans of my age and thereabouts. They are here in Kenya because people are everywhere now. Talk to Ugandans who are of my age and slightly younger or slightly older. Talk to them. You wake up every day, hi darling, let's go to school. Kasichana unakapembeleza kijana. You make them, let's go to school. They jump into your car. You drop them. They hug. Then you go and pick them. Then they hug. Hi darling, daddy, how was your day? All that can disappear in a minute.
No more kababa?
1 minute.
All is gone.
All is gone. You can't even go back to that house. One day. And we saw a glimpse of it in 2007, 2008. A glimpse of it. Just a glimpse of it. In a split, what Napoleon said. This is normal. This is completely the opposite. There's a very slim line.
Thin line in between.
You can't even see it. All that disappears. That beautiful home is no longer a place you want even to go to. And if you are there, you are under the bed. Please, we must know that this is a treasure we have. A country is like a home. It's a treasure.
Regardless
that
of its
despite
challenges.
of the challenges of the day, despite the frustrations in the office and elsewhere, or walking looking for a job, whatever it is, when you come back to family at home, it's a treasure.
Walking into open arms.
When you come back home to your family, to your husband, to your wife, to your father, when you come back home, even if there's no food in that home, it's a treasure you cannot replace. Same to country. People ask me why I love this country so much. Because I know it. I know a home is all you have. A country is all you have in this world. Everything else is not important. If you lose your country, all the billions you are stealing become irrelevant. You can't go and enjoy with them. Money gets, I don't know how stupid these people are. Nothing is to be enjoyed in isolation. Even the good shirt you put on, if you are putting on in a forest, you will not even put it on. You just walk naked.
You don't need it.
You don't need it. So even your money is utilized in a context. The situation gives value to the money you have.
The satisfaction.
Because you can go home, you can carry your bundles to Arambe on Sunday, you know people are appreciating, you are bouncing. You are put on nice shoes of 200,000, you have big car.
Designer.
The environment is conducive for that. Otherwise, the billions you have in your house, and there's nowhere to go and get people clap for you and do what?
They don't even recognize
There's no club to go to Mudavadi Golf Club, Nairobi Club, United Kenya Club for small people like us. There's no current club. The money you have becomes useless. It becomes useless because money is only money when it's being used. And the environment in which you use money must be conducive. You must have a country as a going concern. A country where things are working. And the rich always know in other countries. You can have your 5-course meal. You'll go to your big clubs. But let the common man there akule madondo na chapati.
The bare minimum.
Yeah. Uji na maharage. Once in a while matumbo. Tarehe 15 akipata advance, anakula matumbo kwota. Mwisho wa mwezi anakula nyama kwota. Watoto wako wakienda big schools, wacha wake waende kwa shule na miguu tupu. Lakini huko they can play during break. There's some hope for them that One day, this little girl of mine, 6 years old, walking to school barefoot, can become the CEO of a big company in this country. That is a hope that makes people allow you to enjoy when they are suffering. The hope that one day their children will be something in this country.
But it is the same hope that the president is trying to sell. But now the question is he overdoing it?
How is he selling
New promises every other day, new pledges.
Educate me how he's selling it.
Talk of promises like in 15 years there will be no slums in Kenya.
No, those are not people. People want the here. Is that the
kind of hope you want?
People want the here and the now. People want to see policies that keep their children in school at university level. Not policies that keep away children from university, such as the ones we have.
So it ain't just
people
about
want
promises.
to see the government saying, one of the reasons why industrialists, investors are leaving Kenya to go and produce their products elsewhere are excess taxations. We have removed these taxations. People want to see government saying, we have figured out how to lower cost of electricity.
Such incentives.
So that people in the industrial area don't think of leaving Kenya to go and manufacture those things, then bring them here. And they go with jobs. Those are the things Kenyans want to hear. Kenyans want to see policies and action from government that create hope that tomorrow is going to be a better day. Yeah, that's all people want to see. They don't want to see stories, to hear stories. Just act. If electricity is 10 shillings, people want to hear you have dismantled the cartels in the industry, and the electricity is moving from 10 shillings per whatever to 4 shillings or 3 shillings. That's what can, because it will have a direct impact. People want to see government saying, look here, everything is tied to fuel, oil, diesel especially.
True.
Diesel is going at about 170 something, let's say 180.
Per litre.
Per litre. People want to hear government saying, we have considered and withdrawn the following taxes. And therefore, the price of diesel, effective midnight today, is 120 shillings. Those are the things people want to hear. And that will transform the economy. And people will get jobs. People want to hear. These are the category of goods that will never enter this country. Never. And a special force has been deployed to our ports of entry.
KEBS officials, you name it.
A consignment to ensure, and the policies have been put in place to ensure there will be no dumping going on in this country. All these fake cheap products from you,
Sugar
India,
maize,
China, Turkey, where, Indonesia, Malaysia, where,
Brazil perhaps.
they will not enter this country. Such a pronouncement will create millions of jobs. That's what Kenyans want to hear. And that's not asking for too much. No, it's not asking for too much.
And so for us not to walk into the danger that you say we are running the risk of getting into, would you say we need to go slow and say emasculation of opposition? We should check the government of the day and make sure that it delivers for the people. Now look at the current setup. The opposition, by and large, is in bed with the government of the day. Is that fanning the fire that could lead us to this area that we don't want Kenya to go to?
Obviously. We need voices. Society is always better when there are voices within society talking. Because when the voices are suppressed, then at some point they must erupt. The people who speak for the people, it's good that they speak. But if you close, I saw it at the university, when you close avenue for student leadership, then the entire student population can erupt and cause chaos. But there must be people you talk to. So it's good to have an opposition which speaks, and the people have a feeling somebody is ventilating on the issues that matter for them. But when you close that avenue, so that the common man sees there's nobody speaking for them, that Raila now is in bed with Ruto, and everybody else has joined them, then you are forcing the people at some point to come to their own rescue. It has never been done in a peaceful way anywhere in the world.
It always ends in tears?
Throughout history, it has never. Because when you give people to do it, then the instruments of organization have been abandoned. So they must do it in the best way they know how. And it's never been peaceful throughout history, anywhere in the world. People give themselves institutions, organized institutions, parliament, judiciary, the executive, all those institutions to be able to work for them and do things and put things in check each other, arbitrate between parties and citizens when there are issues, between citizens and government. There are institutions to do that. When those institutions collapse, then the citizens see no other way but to take charge. And since they are not prepared and they don't have the structures, then it becomes chaotic. At the end of the day, more often than not, there's no winner. Everybody's a loser. But the only benefit is you disrupt, destroy, dismantle to create.
The status quo.
Just like a seed must of a sense die for new life to grow.
To sprout. Well, there you have it. That point by the think tank himself, Herman Manyora, takes us to the wrap of today's conversation, discussing the challenges we are facing as a country and whether the future portends something brighter for our youth, for the Gen Z, and also for Kenyans at large. We've unpacked that particular conversation. We've made a clarion call to the president and the administration of today, and also for those who should be checking the government, the opposition, on how better they can do their oversight for the better good of Kenyans. Until we meet next time on Richard Mwenje Exclusive, do enjoy the rest of your viewing. Keep us engaged on our social media handles. I'm at Mwenje Richard on X. Get Herman Manyora at H Manyora as well.